City. Politics, progress, game boards, objects viewed like pawns till we change up our mindset. Value of the dollars at the center of this conflict, where lives only matter if they serve to make a profit. But if a midget sees further on the shoulders of the giant, then we should see further than the tyrant and build a future within the alliance. Success is our science in the quest to go higher. It's the heart of the city.
Wake up, world. Welcome to another episode of HeartCity TV. I'm your host, Malik Boyd. I hope that wherever you're in good spirits and all is truly well. Today's show topic, a season for love, giving, sharing, and receiving love during this holiday season. Lord knows we need some more love in this world. And I'm excited to do our part here at Heart City to share in the love. Now, obviously, there's a ton of things going on in the political space. We talk about politics frequently. The issues of the transition are crucial here in America. For those who are overseas, you're still dealing with issues of COVID, whether you have a parliament or a president. There are challenges in government as well. Elections are preparing to happen in Africa. December, actually this coming Monday, I believe. We will see new elections in places like Ghana. And so all of these areas are in need of action and in need of prayer. Those who understand their faith walk are so crucial in guiding us to some semblance of peace and tranquility during this time. One such individual, I am excited about her and her walk, the Reverend Dr. Hilda Covington. She's the executive director of SisterHood Incorporated, a great program that's doing tremendous work in bridging the gap for women from all walks of life. Dr. Covington, it is an absolute honor having you on Heart City. Welcome home.
Thank you so much, so much.
So, Doc, I enjoyed spending time with you in the green room. I felt like I was talking to Big Mama, getting my life right. So we had a little bit of service. We talked about service and acts of service as well. But you have seen what has transpired over the last couple of months in the country. But more importantly, God has placed on your heart years of service.
Yeah.
Commitment to his people, commitment to the kingdom, commitment to the community, to make a difference in the lives of countless individuals. And so I'm going to ask you, with all that you know and with all that you've experienced, to take us into our 2-minute prayer for the city.
Thank you. Father God, it's such an honor to be allowed and to have access to your throne room. Such an honor to know that you hear and you answer our fervent cry. Lord, we understand and we see all that's going on, but I'm mindful completely that you're still the one that's above it all, and that you're still the one that has the answer, and that even this time of great trial and great tribulation, we're going to come through better, stronger, and wiser. That in the midst of this, even in the midst of the pain and the loss of loved ones, we're going to come through rejoicing. We're going to come through knowing things that we didn't know before. And we're going to come through knowing people that we didn't know before, so that we can further your love throughout this world. We've been called to a place that says you overpay, you repay evil with good, that you bless those who curse you. And many times we find that very hard. That response is almost beyond us. And yet, because we love you, we still seek for that understanding and that peace that passes even understanding, that we do it just because you said so. We know, God, that in the end, we win. Actually, we've already won, and we thank you for that we're simply maintaining territory, hallelujah, that's already been taken for your cause and for your people. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you for healing in this city, hallelujah, in my city. And we thank you that only you, God, you have the remedy for every illness, whether it be political or social or economic. You have the remedy, and you're asking us to open up and to hear what you're saying to the church. And for this, and to the people, for this we give you praise, because you said go into, that means go outside the walls and spread the good news, that there is an answer, to the problem. And we just bow. We bow. The higher we go, the more we understand. The lower we bow to your will and to your way. We thank you that you're covering children, and you're covering homeless, and you're covering the hungry, and you're covering the sick, and you're covering the weak, and you're covering the broken, and you're covering the battered today with your love. Hallelujah. And they know it because we're out there, putting our hands to the plow. We're out there putting faces to what your word says. Hallelujah. That by this shall all men know you, by the love that you have. Oh God, we just give you praise today. We just give you glory. We pray, Lord, that during this season, hallelujah, during this time, hallelujah, that we will even open up the more to the revelation of who you really are and why you really came. You're an all right, all time, everywhere God who can do anything, who knows everything. And if we would just yield and believe, we would see what you came to say. And for this we give you glory, we give you praise, because you truly are the light of the world, the light of the world. And through it all, I believe, I know that you're above everything, and that when it all comes down to it, one day every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. And for this we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen. So,
Yeah.
broadcast audience, that's what happens when Big Mama prays for you. Okay? Understand, you're going to get covered from front to back, left to right, up and down.
Yes.
To be covered. Reverend Dr. Covington, thank you so much for covering the listening audience in prayer. What's happening on your side of the kingdom?
Well, we're actually very excited. A couple of years ago, some of the younger ladies in SisterHood brought in the great thought, what about our daughters? We actually started out as a Sunday school class and dealing with women in crisis and transition. Mm-hmm. And so we went through that. We realized one of the great things we realized, Malik, was that we say we're sacrificing, and yet our sacrifice was always on our schedule. And we've come to realize that sacrifice doesn't suit our schedule. No. Generally, if you're going to sacrifice, you're going to give something up. You're going to have to do something that you're going to have to change your schedule to meet the need. But we have come to the place where we think the need can be categorized and calendared into our schedule. And I think that's one of the things that really weighs very heavily on me. So for SisterHood, when we started out of that class, we are open every day, as much as we can. We never closed during COVID-19, never closed. We didn't have to build a program. We already had a program. And ours was just, if you're hungry, if you're naked, if you need counsel, we're there. I was sharing with you our model. We stay through your storm. We'll be there. We'll be there as best as we can. And the rest we give to God. It's what God does. But so our program, they started under the direction of Tiffany Vaughn Jones, who is my niece. What about our daughters? Because we realized that all of these women we were servicing, which we had no clue, that they were also daughters at one time. They were also daughters, and most of them had daughters. And so it expanded automatically. We had no control.
Let's
And-
talk about one of these initiatives, because I think the initiative that your niece Tiffany, beautiful spirit, put together around, and I'll put this. I want to make sure that this gets on the screen. Dolls for Daughters,
yes.
a great initiative that's happening. Actually, right now, people can donate and give a resource to. Talk about this program and why it's such an impactful program at this time.
Well, it was especially exciting for me because I love programs with cute names.
Right, right.
Have names folk can remember and connect.
Yeah.
And but when I was growing up, that was the only toy that I liked was a doll baby. And someone asked me yesterday, what doll? I said, actually, it was the Raggedy Ann doll. And I think because it was cuddly and, it was no frills.
Right.
But on Christmas, that's all I wanted was books and a doll.
Wow.
And you find that you'd be hard pressed to find a little girl who didn't love a baby doll.
Mm-hmm.
And we had one of my nieces, actually Tiffany's daughter. Absolutely, she could sell dolls. She just loves them. And because of her love for the doll, I had another little niece who then really just wanted to have dolls like London.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing because it wasn't just the doll. You came to realize that it was a sense of ownership. This is mine.
Yeah.
I can take care of her the way I want to, and I'm going to do well at it. It was more than just a toy. It became almost like a pacifier in some instances. It was a constant companion. Mm-hmm. And I actually, in my office, I'm at my home now, but in my office, I have 2 dolls that are really, I think I'd fight if somebody tried to remove them.
See, and that's the beautiful thing. So girls growing up, you respected their dolls. You understood as a young boy, you don't play with the doll unless you wanted to get cracked upside the head with the toy or something like that, right? But it's hard pressed. See, you can have a doll in your office. It's hard for me to put my G.I. Joes in my office. They're not going to look at me the same way if I leave my G.I. Joe toy men in the office. And so dolls hold a deep and special meaning for the youth experience for our young women. And so this program, we can donate dolls.
Yes, absolutely.
For young women, correct?
And dolls make memories. Dolls make memories that you can go back through all your life, and you can donate. And we're hoping that folk will be moved to donate because we're going to distribute these dolls throughout. We work with in DC, the House of Ruth. In New York, Women in Need. In Philadelphia, we work with Unity in the Community. In Los Angeles, Covenant House, and many other organizations that we know where the need is the greatest, where they may not have clothes, they may not have many other things, but sometimes if they can just have one thing that they can take with them every place, it's a memory that can never be taken away from them. And
so how does a young person or one who's willing to donate, and Lord knows if you're able to donate, an American Girl doll, that's great, but that's not what you're asking for. You're saying dolls of any range.
Exactly.
And just making sure that a young woman, a young child has the proper memory and a gift from one sister or one loving person to another. How do they donate? Where do they go?
Well, they can actually send them to SisterHood Incorporated, 410 York Street or Broad Street in Burlington, New Jersey, 08046. And we will then distribute them to each of the organizations. Or we will have available the addresses of the other organizations where you can even send them directly there if you should so choose.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about us. It's about getting the doll to the daughter. And we're excited even for the opportunity because it just this has been like this year. I've really not been well, probably all year long, but this just lit up my life to think, oh my goodness, you know, how when you have nothing and you get something that's just yours, you know, you can get a game and the whole family will start playing it. You get a bicycle and your sisters and brothers want to ride it. But that doll, they're generally not going to take your doll and start playing with it. And we had one young lady say, well, no, I don't want my daughter playing with dolls because then she'll be thinking like a mommy. Well, no, that's not true because I love dolls, but I didn't want a whole lot of children when I grew up. Let me make that disclaimer right now. That did not engender a need to produce.
Create a young.
I just love the doll for the doll itself. And another thing they used to say, well, no, I want just to have black dolls or it didn't matter to me what color my doll was. You know, it was a doll. It was a doll.
Right. It was the experience of
it was the experience. It was the experience. And I'm just so grateful that our younger sisters, which is part of a legacy, you know, that because a legacy, you don't have to be in my building to carry my legacy.
Yeah.
You just have to be in my head. You have to be in my heart. You have to feel what I feel. That's legacy to me. And that's what it is, that you understand. The Bible says that Jesus was moved with compassion. You know, and we've got to be moved by the same spirit. Well, please.
No, let's start it. You can go there. Now, mind you, we'll have to let our broadcast audience know that we're now in revival session. We'll pass that up, you know, for the sermon that's about to commence. But I will say to you, Doc, it is an honor for all of us in the broadcast audience to be on your head and in your heart. We love you and appreciate the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Not just for the community that you can physically touch,
yes,
but how you have just covered all of us across the world in prayer. And so we pray God's continued increase on your life, and we are excited about and the great work that SisterHood is doing as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc.
When we come through, we're going to come through better.
Oh, we're definitely going to come through better. Listen, if you're praying for us, we're
come on.
Right. Look at God. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Absolutely. Listen, Doc, give our love to the family and to the team over at SisterHood, and we will make sure that we also post the information about Dolls for Daughters on our social media as well.
Thank you so much. God bless you now, and be safe.
God bless you. So we are now covered in prayer by the Reverend Dr. Covington. We'll make sure that we post all the information around Dolls for Daughters on our Facebook page. On the other side, Madison McIntyre, you're going to hear from this young juggernaut and the great work that she is doing in the entrepreneurial space. We got to go pay some bills on the other side, Max and Madison. And you're going to hear from guests from all walks of life, talking about what it means to give, share, and receive love during this season. I need you to know that we love you. I need you to hear that. And I need you also to share it. So during this commercial break, do me a favor, take out your phone, just text someone that you haven't talked to in some time and just let them know, listen, I'm thinking of you and I love you. Now, here's the caveat. Don't text your ex and blame it on us for the response. All right, that's on you. Text somebody you haven't talked to, a good friend, family member, and just let them know that you love them. We're going to pay bills, but on the other side, Madison McIntyre, the young superstar, you'll hear all about her story as well. The show topic: a season for love. You're watching HeartCity TV.
to see what $2.5 trillion in spending power can really do? You ready to pool these resources and rebuild our infrastructure?
You ready to support your sisters and brothers that are building businesses at record rates?
This what trust looks like, what love looks like, what us looks like, yeah.
You ready to give back to the culture that's given you so much? You ready to continue the legacy of Black economic excellence? You ready to work hard and play harder? You ready to let the black dollar circulate?
This what trust looks like, what love looks like, what us looks like, yeah. New type of leveling, new type of excellence.
You ready for a banking platform designed for us to win?
¿Estás listo para unirte en nuestra colección de soñadores?
You ready for this marathon to continue? You ready to bet on black for real? Then get ready for Greenwood.
New type of leveling, new type of excellence.
This is our time.
We're back. You're watching Heart City TV. I am so excited about this dynamic mother-daughter duo, Madison McIntyre and her mother, Shericka Miller-McIntyre. They have a company that they have built, Madison's World. They are doing some amazing work around preparing their child, Madison, for success for the next level. She's an author, the author of the Madison World's book series. At the age of 8, Madison released her first book in the series, A Lesson in Friendship. Her second book, A Bad Hair Day, Daddy to the Rescue, was released shortly thereafter. And so I'm excited to have Madison and her mother with us today. Madison, superstar, how are you? Welcome home to Heart City.
Hi, I'm good.
It's great to have you. And Mom, it's great to have you as well. Welcome home.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So I need to hear this story because you're going to be on Oprah. You're going to have your own TV network series one day, and they'll be making movies about these books that you are writing. So I'm thankful that you chose Heart City to come here now on this journey. Talk about this concept of Madison's World and how it came to be.
Okay. So I'm Madison, and I am 12 years old, and I am the owner of Madison's World, and I'm also the author of Madison's World book series, which consists of my 3 books that talk about homelessness, bullying, and how to write your own book.
Wow. How to write your... Wait, time out. So you said, look, I'm going to write my own books, but now I'm also going to teach people how to write their books as well.
Yes.
Look at God. Won't he do it? Mom, so clearly the apple does not fall far from the tree. You are doing great work as well in the areas of real estate. And it is very clear that you are guiding your daughter to success and guiding her down the right path. Talk about this moment and what it means to have a daughter so enterprising and so willing to share her gift with the world.
Well, actually, it's wonderful. Actually, all of our children are much like Madison in different aspects, but it's great. Madison's always been a lover of reading and writing. So when she decided that she wanted to take it a step further, her dad and I said, you know what, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it well.
Yeah.
And so for her to be able to publish a book, it's been great. And then for her to have the desire to continue that and then help other people do the same, it's just been a wonderful thing. So we're very thankful.
Madison, what's the process like when you're creating these books? Is it something where you have a notepad on the side of the bed and you're waking up in the middle of the night with the book idea and you're running it past mom and dad without giving all of your creative juice? Talk to us about what happens in your inspired process.
So it takes about 90 days for me to create my books, and it starts off with a rough draft. And most of my ideas for my books come from what I've seen in life and throughout school and going different places, and that's how I come up with all of my ideas. And I also try to write at least 3 to 4 rough drafts so that I'll have an idea of what I want to talk about and write about.
Wow. So you have a full process.
Yes.
Essentially is what you're saying. And so did you create that process on your own? Was it something that you worked with mom and dad to create and perfect? How did that go?
So I actually have a writing coach that helps me come up with my ideas, as well as help me pursue my ideas and get them out onto a piece of paper.
Wow. So you have a writing coach.
Yes.
I was just happy to play basketball and hopefully have a coach that would put me in the game. You said, look, I'm going to have a writing coach and prepare myself for success. Mom, for other mothers who are watching, parents who are saying, you know what, I need my child, not just right now for the sake of COVID and what has occurred and changing the conditions of the environment, but just for legacy's sake. I want to prepare my child for entrepreneurship. What are some of the words of advice that you would share with parents?
I think one of the biggest things is really following your child's passion up to the point that it's no longer passion anymore. And so whether that child wants to play, basketball, whether they want to play the violin, whether they want to write a book, whether they want to be a robotics, whatever it is, you kind of follow along with that. And as parents, we don't always know the right thing to do, the immediate thing to do. And it's just really good to be able to do research, reach out to other people and say, hey, my child wants to write a book. Where in the world do I start? And for us, we were lucky enough to have a family friend that actually does writing and editing and publishing and all of those good things. So we had someone to lean on. But I think it's really about just finding your child's gift just at the moment. Let me say that, because she could decide tomorrow that she doesn't want to do this. She wants to, go and cut lawns for a living, and that's cool too.
Right.
We just mentor in that particular industry. But I think one of the things really for parents is just to take it day by day, let your child's gift come to life, do what you're able to do, but definitely connect with resources outside of yourself to see how you can actually help your child pursue a goal, and to let them know it's possible. Even if you don't know how to, letting them know that it's possible is really the difference. So, not immediately saying no.
You know what's so beautiful about what you said? It wasn't just that you were willing to support her in the current endeavor, but if she decided to change, that you would be there with her, in that step, even if you didn't know how. I think that's so important, because many of us get locked into a comfort zone, wanting to push our child to the success that we know, not the success that they're designed and destined for. And so I think that's a life lesson all of us can take with us. Madison, how does it feel to have parents who are so uber supportive of you and willing to walk with you through this journey?
It feels good because I have something to lean on, and I have something that will kind of guide me through my path, as well as me still figuring out what I want to do. So yeah. So
what advice, because you're a guru now you're writing books to teach others on how to write their own books. Okay. So I have to purchase your book so I can get down the road too and figure out how to get my books out. And so what would you tell young entrepreneurs who are listening? They're your age. They're taking a break in the middle of online class and they're saying, okay, Madison, if she can do it, then I can do it. What advice would you leave them?
I would tell them to believe in what they want to do, and also don't give up no matter how hard it gets, because it is going to get to the point where you want to quit, but I don't think you should quit because you can keep going.
Okay, so it's clear, Mom, that you have guided her in some major ways. You and Dad have really instilled in her some really core and key values for success. Madison, you are a blessed young woman. You have so much ahead of you, and we are excited here at Heart City to support you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we promote and push each one of your books in the series, and the purchase links, we want to get that as well. And we want to purchase a book to add it to the Heart City collection as well. So we'll get all of those books so that we can shout you out and say that you are in the Heart City library as well. Any final words that you want to leave, Madison, with the broadcast audience?
Well, you can find me on my website, which is madisontheauthor.com, and then my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, are all Madison the author, and then I also have a YouTube channel, which is the official Madison's World.
So, all right, so you just rattled off like 6 social media. You were like, I got TikTok, I got, Wing Wang, and run them back again so the listening audience can know each one.
So my Instagram is Madison the author. My Facebook is Madison the author. My TikTok is Madison the author, and then my YouTube channel is the official Madison's World.
All right, so school a 40 plus guy on TikTok. Talk about TikTok. What happens on TikTok for authors? How do you promote and push there?
Well, I haven't done much promoting on TikTok, but I will start doing that, and pretty much showing people how you get through the process of writing a book, how you get through different steps of owning a business, like shipping, and just different stuff that you can share on TikTok that will help other people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Mom, you're doing amazing work. You and Dad have created legacy here, and it's very clear that Madison is going to be a blessing, not just to your family, but to the world as we know it. And so we're excited about Madison, excited about you and Dad and the great work that you are doing with Madison. You have the final word, Mom. What's on your heart to the broadcast audience?
Right now on my heart is everyone staying safe, staying sane, and staying secure. And so while you're in home doing all of those things, really just letting your creative juices flow along, with what Madison said, just taking this time to really understand how blessed we all are and just be grateful for where we are today. And for all the parents out there thinking, oh my gosh, my child wants to do a lipstick, line, a book line, whatever it is, just go for it. It's 2021. What's the worst that could happen? Just take it.
Why not? You've heard it from Mom and from Madison. Go do it. That's not just a slogan for Nike. That's a slogan for life. Get out and do what God has empowered you to do. You can see very clearly through this young life in Madison McIntyre that the world truly is your oyster. Get out there and live your dreams. Madison, we are so excited about you. And we are now joining the Madison Fan Club. We are now going to be a part of Madison's World. I want you to have a beautiful day, and we will continue to support you in the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So, broadcast audience, you've heard from Madison McIntyre. She's doing some amazing work in the space. Support young entrepreneurship and young entrepreneurs who are doing amazing work. Let them know that you support their vision, whether the product has been finally proved or not, whether they're going to do this for 3 years and shift to something else. Long gone are the days where we could take just one concept and run with it for 40, 50, 60 years. If you're able to do that, that is amazing. More importantly, these multifaceted entrepreneurs are looking to make impact for themselves and for the world as we know it. We need to support every endeavor that their heart is into and let them know that we've got their back, win, lose, or draw. Madison is doing some amazing work. And so make sure that you purchase one of her books. We'll post on our social media so that you can support and put it under the tree for the young person in your life. I am going to our EKGs. I'm excited about these two brothers, Brother Fago.
Hey,
how you doing, brother? And the Reverend Gregory Stinson is back in the building. He's on the move in the car, rocking and rolling. It's great to have both of you with us on Heart City. Welcome home, brothers.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Fago.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Greg. So Fago, you're a sports journalist and a publicist with News Switch and Pro Players Insiders. Talk about this journey, brother, and the great work that you're doing in the industry.
Oh, man, thank you for the introduction, first and foremost. I've been in sports media for 8 years. So with News Stitch Media, I have decided to build my own publication and give opportunities for young people that are actually entering sports media, because a lot of opportunities are lackadaisical now these days, because directors and editors don't really have time. So I have covered, events from Super Bowls to the White House Correspondents' Dinner to any and everything that you can think of. And so now I'm giving opportunities to other people to actually help them excel in their careers.
Wow. That's beautiful, man. And it's great to see that even though sports is, a key direction, that you're adding in all walks of life. You're not just leaving it at the field. You're talking about other relevant issues of the day, man. So we're excited about the great work you're doing. And you know, even more so than we, how important it is to have the right narrative and to have individuals of color truly representing the sports space and not just being on the field, but telling the stories on and off, man. So we honor you, brother, and appreciate the great work.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Brother Greg Stinson back in the building, man. It's good to see you, brother.
Likewise, man. Likewise, Brother Boyd. Always a pleasure.
So I know you're grinding. I know you're doing tons of work during this season. You do it whether it's the sexy thing or not. You're in the community making sure that voices are heard and that the voices are answered, especially when they're calling out for pleas of help and resource. Talk about what's happening on your side of the kingdom, man, and the work that you're doing.
Well, man, of course, you know, the pandemic is dictating to everyone, so we're just constantly adjusting, and it doesn't prevent life itself from happening, so we're still facing the same issues, and man, we're just trying to navigate through this thing, you know, continually staying safe and trying to do kingdom work. Of course, church is challenged and hard. We can't get together, so that challenges us physically, spiritually, financially. You know, you can't do ministry without money. So, you know, it's just a test of time, man. And of course, coming down to the holiday season, man, you know, people fail to realize that this is the time where a lot of people are depressed and so the suicide rates are up, man. So it's so much to pray for. And after a year like this, after everyone has suffered great loss, this has affected everyone either close or far. And, you know, man, it's a great challenge. So we're just trying to continue to work, serve families, and, you know, let our voice be heard when it's needed. Not so much socially respond. My message is still that we ought to be, you know, proactive and not just reactive. At some point, we have to get in front of what we see coming, not just always responding to what is taking place.
Oh, yeah, brother. It's so crucial not to always be late on the draw.
Sure enough.
Be ahead of the curve. And so I honor you and the great work that you're doing to make sure that we are indeed ahead of the curve. Are you brothers ready for the EKGs?
Oh, of course, of course.
Listen, there's tons of them. Let's get at it.
This is the EKG, the part of the show where we place America front and center on the monitors of the American people. We will look for irregularities in the heartbeat, offer solutions on the issues we find in order to make America healthy once again. So fire up the machine. Let's start the EKG.
This week's EKGs are brought to you by Dashuri CBD products. Make sure you check them out at MyDashuri, DASHURI.com. Our first story. This one is pretty interesting. Philadelphia School District facing a grim budget may need to lay off employees. Now, it's a challenge. Obviously, here in Philadelphia, whether we've marched in front of 440, whether it be home and school meetings, the issues with the board itself, we have witnessed the school district in the newspaper, main media for a number of years here, whether it be lack of resources compared to other districts, test score, graduation rates, the list goes on. And regardless of superintendent, we make some progress, but it seems that there's still a significant ongoing challenge for both of you. You know, Fago, you write about these kind of issues. You talk about community impact and community need. Greg, you're in the street making sure that parents get the resources that are needed for their children, especially now with the onset of COVID and this new reality. Where do we stand? Because what's also interesting is, and this is breaking news, that the school district will conduct a press conference 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today to discuss a new direction for the school board itself and a reconfiguration of its focus on student achievement. And so it's going to be crucial for everybody to pay attention to that at 3 o'clock to see what their desires and goals are. But to my brothers, where do we need to be on this issue? We've marched on the steps.
We've screamed at the superintendents. We've yelled at the mayors. And still not much has changed. What can we do differently in this new space to try and make gains for our young generation?
I'm gonna have. Oh, go ahead. You was about to say something.
All right. Well, just briefly, I think politically, I'm not too well informed, but I do follow some things. Just on the outside looking in, education is a necessity. And I think bigger than the superintendent now, the past superintendent, and if there will be a future superintendent, I think there's just a reoccurring issue that they have not found a solution to. And it's no secret that they're in a financial jam.
Yeah.
We got virtual school, they're not working. And even before the pandemic, the school district had financial problems that we would always hear about. I guess it starts at 1600 Washington D.C., man. I think there needs to, be a reset, a new.
We lost your audio a little bit.
Really figure out what the necessity is and what exactly that we can do. What is the budget? I guess technological software costs more than the standard book. So as we are adjusting to modern technology and the new wave of education, I think we just need to adjust the budget according to, technological software. The reality is the classroom may not be safe for the next 5 years. So again, we got to be proactive and not reactive, not just responding to where we are, but even in this moment, try to deal with this and then plan something that is really functional for the future.
Functional for the future. Fago, your thoughts around this school district issue and how we secure a great opportunity in education for our young folk?
As he just stated before, we have to be more proactive with getting our knowledge out there, talking to some of these community leaders, expressing, our distress with the school system, because at the end of the day, education is very important.
Yeah.
However, we need to actually get more involved in the political realm instead of just community realm. Actually, push those individuals to, make these different laws. Because again, we can march all day, but nothing is, of course, nothing is, changing. We see that with the Black Lives Matter movement. Just the other day, a young man was shot in his back again by law enforcement. So all this marching and stuff like that is not really doing anything. So we have to be more proactive with getting different individuals into these offices and try to make change within instead of from without.
It's interesting, and I want to be clear for the broadcast audience. $57 million is the current budget gap. However, the school district, under the leadership of Dr. Height, did identify $46 million in savings, and so there's an $11 million gap that we're talking about. And so, whether we're talking about things like soda tax or additional taxes on the community, it's going to be very clear that we're not going to be able to add additional tax, especially in the middle of COVID and a very challenged economy. We're going to have to be very creative about how we make an impact for our children. Nonetheless, an impact for our children is a non-negotiable. We're going to make sure that we post that story on our social media. Please share that with those you love. This one, depending on how old you are, you're going to appreciate this story. So, breaking, yes, not the movie, but breakdancing itself is now going to be an Olympic sport for the first time in 2024. Now, breaking is now the official name for competitive breakdancing, and it will be introduced in the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's one of the 4 to be approved for the Summer Games by the IOC. And so, fellas, the culture has hit international stage now on a whole nother level. So, brothers from the Bronx will be able to compete with brothers from Beijing and figure out who can break the best. Can you believe it? Breakdancing in the Olympics. Would you have ever thought that would occur?
No, I actually like the idea though. Of course, dance is very competitive. You can kind of put it into a sport realm. Of course, there's so many dynamics with being in breakdancing. There's a lot of movements. There's a lot of strategic matters that go within breakdancing. I love it because it brings our culture to international stakes.
Yeah.
And then now you're bringing in a marketing aspect. Now you're bringing the international culture into more so of the urban culture. Exactly. And we excel within our culture. So we're going to bring a little bit flavor to the international level. I love it.
Yeah. Greg, the break dancers might not be there on Sunday because they're prepping for the Breakdance Olympics, brother. It's on and popping.
Well, breakdancing is definitely before my era. So I will be excited to see. I'm concerned about how they're going to judge. What are they going to? What is going to be a perfect to an incomplete? You know,
it's going to be interesting.
You know,
and who are the judges, right? So prepare to see some hip hop heads. You know, Grandmaster classes in the building, checking it out. So I think
definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's you know, it's a story for the ages. 2020 has brought about some interesting developments, and breakdancing being, you know, yet another one of those in a lighthearted way. But I think to your point, Fago, as well, the culture is just making more and more impact as the days go on. And I think that's also a clarion call to us to be mindful of the value of the culture.
Well, then we'll also see how many of the other ethnicities will join the breakdancing.
Come on. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, then we may find out that all races breakdance.
And follow the marks that we have and the milestones that we have created in the space. And I think to your point, Greg, it's going to be important that we make sure that, you know, folk don't monetize this thing, you know, and really take it out of our hands, as Damon Dash calls it, the culture vultures.
Well, it's possibly on the way there, the fact that they put it in the Olympics.
Come on, in the Olympics, you know, brothers throwing their flags across the screen, you know.
I mean, because if we're gonna break dance, that means we need a sweatsuit, some shell tops, some
there we go.
Cardboard, and a boom box.
The shells are back on with the flag on it. There you go. We'll make sure that we post that story on our social media pages as well. Share that with those you love. This one right here, I love it. A Charlotte charity just brought an 88-room hotel to house the homeless. Now this the roof above, which is the name of the hotel, 88 unit right on the intersection of Clanton Road and I-77, will be transformed into permanent housing for many in Charlotte's homeless community. When we talk about impact, we talk about making a difference. That's big boy business right there. Taking an 88 unit hotel and saying we're going to make sure that we have housing for those who are in a vulnerable position. We saw that right here in Philadelphia, where we broadcast from, with the Parkway. We had an encampment on the Parkway for a significant amount of time, quite frankly. And the main issue at the table was housing. How do we secure housing for the homeless? And I want people to understand this is not permanent housing for them. We're not just giving homes out of the clear blue, but making sure that there's a safe place for them. If anyone has ever experienced a shelter, you know a shelter is not the easiest place to be. It can be a very treacherous and challenging space, especially if you're a woman, especially if you have children in the space. You know, there's a lot that goes on there. So it's important that we have some safe spaces for them. Charlotte made a big move. Fago, what do you think about this one, brother?
Oh man, I love the idea because first and foremost, you got to give hope to these individuals. I mean, I pray each and every day that the homeless people can actually have somewhere to stay that is safe. For one thing, have you know, hope and faith, have a supportive system that can kind of help and guide them to that next level to get them out of their little jam, as well as put food in their stomachs, because a lot of people are, you know, they don't even eat. And, you know, some of them actually dig in trash cans, and it's disheartening. And it's like they're animals instead of humans. We need more people that express humanity instead of degrading people, because you never know somebody's story or situation. And especially right now, this is a perfect time to express that, hey, you know, there are some good people out here. I can show gratitude by doing something good. And hopefully, you know, it trickled down to other people to actually help out these individuals and not just give them a home, but give them faith. And that's what it's all about, because, you know, in the Christian realm, we're supposed to actually help each other out, to help each other excel to that next greater level. And this is just a prime example of showing people what faith looks like.
Faith in action. Greg, I know you know something about that, brother. Talk that talk.
Yeah, well, of course, you know, faith without works is dead. And, you know, ministry, we are called to feed the hungry and clothe the naked and shelter the homeless. And I think it's a great start. Yeah. Awesome. Of course, we know that, you know, when you do things like that, charities, you know, they write it off, you know, whatever the case may be. And all that's good. That's how business goes. However, I think for it to be effective, totally, after you provide shelter, after you give comfortability and we get these people cleaned up, now we got to offer them something else to keep them progressing. All right, you got food, you got hot water, you got a bed. Okay, but listen, this is a 90-day project. We got to get you in, get you back on the street, call straight. And, you know, we got to offer you a McDonald's job. We got to start you somewhere. We got to have access where we give people a chance, you know, housing, you know, okay, after the 88 rooms are filled, you know, then we need to have a reoccurring list that we got a 90-day program that actually works, you know, but I'm excited that folks are, you know, going to be, you know, having somewhere to stay. In Charlotte is definitely a very progressive area, according to what, you know, how it used to be back in the country. I got family down there. So, you know, we used to go down there as a kid, and now to see that it has progressed, you know, with the new Coliseum and new stadium. So I think it's a great idea, and it's a great start, man. You know, it's a great start. And I just know that comfortability, people can get complacent after they, you know, get comfortable with a place to live. It's like, all right, now what? And we don't want them to venture out or go back into whatever has caused them to be homeless in the first place. And we do understand that everybody, some people just have had unfortunate mishaps or, you know, what so have you in life. But we just want to offer full productivity, not only, and then after you get yourself together, then there are some requirements if you're gonna stay here. You know, you've got to follow the rules. In life, there are rules. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great start, and, you know, prayerfully, man, that will open doors to allow other people to help them get more housing. And it's just something that could be reached or accomplished globally. You know, we definitely need that start everywhere. And it's not just your typical shelter. You know, it's not just your shelter.
You know, I think you bring up a great point. And Fago, you started off this conversation in that same vein, understanding from the Christian perspective, those who are believers. The Bible is clear. You know, Jesus said the poor will be with us always. We'll have them here. So this is an ongoing effort. I want people to understand, to Greg's point as well, this is not a one-stop shop. It fixes everything immediately and life just goes on instantly because we have units like this available. There has to be a holistic approach. So once we've sheltered, once we have cared for the individual, we now put them on a path to success. And I think you're spot on with that as well. We're going to make sure that we post that story on our social media pages as well. This one here, I love. Rashida Jones will become the first Black woman to run cable news at MSNBC. Now, broadcast journalist Rashida Jones takes over as president of MSNBC next year, the first to run a major cable news operation, ending Phil Griffin's 12-year stint at the helm of this cable news network. I don't know about you brothers, but I'm excited to see, you know, faces of color. Right? Let me go a little further. I'm excited to see Black faces at the helm of major news networks. It's so crucial, and you know this very well, Fago, in our space, in the media world. It's great to be in front of the camera, but the ownership, the editors, the ones who are making the key decisions are often not our same color,
definitely don't understand the stories and the perspectives that we discuss and need to really bring out inside of our stories. Fago, I'm sure you've experienced this where you've written a story in the perspective that is most impactful for the subject that you're writing about, and the editor comes in and changes it up because they want to kind of whitewash the story and have it appeal to what they consider a broader audience, essentially taking out the context that is most needed to tell the story effectively. Having Black faces in positions of power and decision making makes a difference in the newsroom. Fago, what's your thoughts about this power move happening?
I love it. I mean, first and foremost, women of color do not get really much representation in the media field. So that is just a highlight for them. As well as a Black man, it's just nice to see a woman of color actually get that power position, because women of color have fought so hard and are disrespected on a regular basis in the United States. And it just doesn't make sense. They have to do 10 times more than a Black male. For her to actually get this position, it actually shows hope, it shows representation, and it shows that we're moving in the right direction with bringing more diversity to the news stations.
Yeah, indeed. Greg, you know this very well. You've been covered by major news outlets. It's great when we have a Black face come out to talk about the issues, especially in communities of color. And to support initiatives. They understand why you're out there walking down Broad Street, in the middle of looting. They understand why you're going into some of the most impoverished neighborhoods in very particular ways, because they understand the experience. They come from that experience. Now having decision makers to be able to support not only just those narratives of challenge, but also narratives of success for communities of color at major news outlets. How does that make you feel as one who labors in the vineyard?
Man, I think it's an awesome opportunity, and we're very excited for Ms. Jones. And man, I just, of course, we know that she's put her time in, and she's getting her just due reward. And we know that she's going to do well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, we just hope that they don't with the scandals and the and the booby traps that they set up, man. It's unfortunate that the reality is sometimes, man, they only allow us to get those positions, under certain circumstances, man. So I pray that everything just works out for her, man, and it's her time, and what's for you is for you, man. So we definitely celebratory about this elevation for this woman of color, and it gives, not only with her but Kamala Harris, it's I think with Kamala Harris going in, I think you're gonna see a couple more Black women getting some big chairs.
Very much so.
They're gonna get some big chairs at the table, man. So, we're just excited, man. I think the key of it is even we got to get away from separating the Black woman from the Black man. If she there, we there. If we there, she's there.
Absolutely.
So we just got to always be mindful that we on the same team, and we got to do all we can on a local standpoint to support her. And she's got major opposition on her level. We got opposition on our level. So we just got to keep her covered in prayer, man. And
covered in prayer and also supporting as well.
Yeah, sure enough.
Your earlier point, getting behind, this great woman and the work that she has done. To both of your points, her tenure is there. This isn't, an upstart. This is not a symbolic positioning. This young woman, Rashida Jones, has done the work. She was already VP. So I want people to understand they're not just taking someone off the news desk and throwing them in the mix. She's well qualified to lead MSNBC in this new space. And so we are excited about Miss Jones and her great work. We're going to make sure we post that on our social media page. Please share that, especially with the young women in your life. Let them know of the greatness that lies in them. Our last story, this one here, Greg just kind of queued this one up. Biden picks Ohio Rep. Marcia Fudge
for HUD secretary. Tom Vilsack will lead agriculture. And so Rep Marcia Fudge, she's doing some amazing work, has continued to do amazing work in her state. She will now be tapped to lead HUD. We know Dr. Ben Carson was in HUD, and regardless of what individuals feel, Dr. Carson did do some impactful work through HUD, and some of the work that was done even right here in West Philadelphia with the pairing of HUD and our schools, ensuring that there was a holistic approach to our youth was equally as important. It is good to see that Biden, who will soon be President Biden come January 20th, has stayed committed to ensuring that people of color are in key positions. And I want people to understand, you don't have to always be in a cabinet position to make a major impact in government. There are tons of spaces where there's opportunity to make an impact. It's not just sitting right next to the president, but making sure that, you know, agencies, you have positions within those agencies that can make impact. Greg, you queued this one up, so I'm throwing it right back at you. One more win here. One more win for
man. The Bible says, "Your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men." So, you know, most of the time, man, what's for you is for you, man. And when the doors open, you just got to walk through it. And you know, Biden has an agenda, and you know, you got to line up with people who have in common with you the same goals. It's not about gender, race.
Yeah.
You know, it's about getting the work done, man. So, you know, it just shows unity, and it eases the woman empowerment movement. Now they can't say nothing. Y'all got a place at the seat. Y'all, so now you can't cry. Let's get the work done. We in this together. And you know, let's do what we got to do. And after we get done celebrating, we must be mindful that, man, there's some serious work to do. So let's celebrate, but let's collaborate. Let's get the moving, man. So you know, I feel like, you know, Biden has a lot of work cut out for him. He has to undo some stuff, and prayerfully we can get him in there for 8 years, man, or whatever happens, because it's going to take him 4 years to undo what was just done. You know, so it's a challenge, man. And I think what happens ultimately, again, we just keep repeating the cycle, man. Whoever gets in gets to push their agenda, and whoever comes in now has to undo what they did. And it just takes time off of productivity, man. But once we get past the battling of individuality of ourselves, or gender, or sex, or equality, man, I really think we can really just get the work done. And I think he's making a step at you know, inviting those parties, and he's, you know, he's already canceling out some arguments that don't even have to come up.
Yeah. Fago, yet another win, another powerful sister in the building, ready to make impact in a much needed space, housing and urban development.
I agree. She was a good candidate, first and foremost. She has a lot of experience. And to go back to Greg's point of view, that Joe Biden's campaign was ran actually by African-American women. That was the one those were the people that actually saved his campaign and actually made him president. So he has to stick with the plan. If not, he's not going to actually get those votes back if he's going to try to get reelected in 2024. So he has to, you know, his whole thing is bringing unity together. And with Kamala Harris, you know, that is a powerhouse woman. But I get tired of African-American actually cleaning up after white people. We saw it, you know, in 2008 when President Barack Obama had to clean up President Bush and got us out of the recession. Now we're in another recession with COVID-19, and there's a VP, which is Kamala Harris, which is a person of color that's going to actually clean up what President Trump has already did to this country. And I get tired of, you know, African Americans actually cleaning up after, you know, Caucasian people, because at the end of the day, yes, they broke history, but why can't we break our own history as well too? Like it just doesn't make sense, because if they fell into 4 years, that black woman as vice president is going to get so much criticism.
Right.
And it just doesn't make sense. And I think she's well qualified.
Oh yeah, she's not only well qualified and Rep Fudge as well is immensely qualified. And to your point, there tends to be a cleanup that occurs and a unjust scrutiny that also occurs. We have to walk the finest of fine lines to make sure that we are well beyond reproach. And so it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. To your point, Simone Saunders started off the Biden campaign and transitioned into a senior advisor role. Ashley Antier and others, we've seen them. We've had them right here on Heart City right during the election. It's important to know, who powered this election cycle, but it's also equally important to make sure that we do not forget that the work is not yet done. There's still more to do. So pay attention to midterms, pay attention to local elections, because you don't want to elect someone and then have their hands tied because you did not do the work right back at home. Fago, you brought up some really great points today, brother. I honor you. I appreciate you, man. We love you and the great work that you're doing, not just for the community, but for the culture as well.
Thank you. Before I go, y'all can actually follow me on Facebook, which is Fago Franklin III. My Instagram is superjournalist87. You can check out my YouTube channel, which is Fago Franklin III. My website is newstitchmedia.com, or either, heck, you can Google me, Fago Franklin III, and everything just pops up. Some of the exclusive interviews that I have done with your favorite celebrities or athletes, you can actually see all my work there.
It's amazing. He said, just Google me. I'm good. I am good on the streets. Yes, sir, Fago. We will definitely do that and make sure that we promote and push all of your social media and the great work that you're doing as well. Brother Stinson, man, how does the broadcast audience connect with you? I mean, you're a fan favorite. You've been on multiple times. so they already know what it's hitting for, but tell the broadcast audience how they can connect with you.
Well, they can reach me, Facebook, Gregory Stinson, Instagram, at GR Stints. I don't post often. I'm not a social media guru. I do post here and there, but that's where you can follow me at. But I'm always working, though. I'm always working.
Always working. Listen, brother, we
enough.
honor you. We appreciate you and love you as well for the great work you're doing.
Yes, sir. Much love to you, Brother Boyd. And Brother Fago, we'll definitely connect, man.
Definitely. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
That is what I'm talking about. Making connections. That's what the show is all about. Fago and my brother Greg Stinson they've given us some great advice, great perspective on the issues of the day. We need you, because we're gonna post those articles, but we need you to have conversation in your community about not only just the issue, but the solutions that will make impact for your community and for us as a global community as well. I'm going to the Black History Fact and the Song of the Week on the other side. Susan C. Small, you know her. She has been on the show even when we were broadcasting as a radio program, now in the broadcast format, now with visual and television. In the Now Network, we bring her back to talk about some of that holiday magic that she has brought to our community. And so let's go to our Black history. So we do Black history every week. Why? Because we make Black history every day. If you don't believe me, do me a favor. Just take out your smartphone. Take a picture of your fine self. You are truly living Black history. Our Black history person of the week is none other than Horatio Viscount Berkey Nelson, the staunch defender of the Black working class. He was born on July 10th, 1939 in Oxford, Pennsylvania. He married Joan Kathleen Ricks of Philadelphia in 1964. They had 2 sons. He was a graduate of Westchester University and the University of Pennsylvania. Now, Horatio was a widely recognized scholar of 20th century African American political history, and particularly class dynamics in the modern Black community. His first major work, The Rise and Fall of Modern Black Leadership, was a searing critique of the inability of 20th century Black leaders to fully explicate the true horrific conditions facing the Black underclass.
now, arguing the social conditions of poverty, high rates of incarceration, deteriorating family structure. It needed leaders who devised strategies that would eliminate these conditions. Dr. Nelson's work included Black leadership's response to the Great Depression in Philadelphia and Sharecropping, Ghetto, and Slum, a history of impoverished Blacks in 20th century America, which was written as he battled terminal cancer and thus became his final gift to the historical study of the Black underclass. Written with great compassion, Dr. Nelson crafted a narrative which explained why what he called the unlettered masses of impoverished Blacks deliberately fought to maintain the true Black cultural norms in the face of middle-class Black leaders who promoted what would become known as respectability politics. Nelson argued that working-class Blacks maintained their cultural norms precisely because they were effective in dealing with the debilitating impact of past and ongoing racism. Thus, his final work revealed a deep empathy for Black workers as they faced the racist brutality imposed upon them through social conditions they experienced every day. Horatio Viscount Berkey Nelson. He died on October 5th, 2015 at his home in Los Angeles, California. He was 76 years old. Our hearts go out to the life and legacy of Horatio Viscount Berkey Nelson. Please share this Black history fact with those you love. I'm going to our song of the week on the other side. Susan C. Small and Holiday Magic.
When I draw you close to me, is this my destiny to set you free? Is this my destiny lying here with me, giving the best of me? Can't you see I got more love to share? Maybe we should stay right here in the same space. Look for different results in the same space. How we gonna look for different results in the same space? Oh, how if we're in the same space? Despite our love's detour.
That song of the week is absolutely incredible. Deanna, you're 9. Same space. Make sure you support great music. It's only $1.29 on Google Play or Apple Music. Another amazing artist in her own right, ensuring that we have programming that tells our story, that celebrates greatness and spreads a little holiday magic, is none other than Susan C. Small. I am so excited to have her back at Heart City. Welcome home, Susan.
Hey, Heart City. It's good to be home.
Yes, good to have you home. And you are spreading, again, some amazing holiday magic across the atmosphere at a much needed time. I mean, we are in one of the most challenging moments in probably our country's history as it relates to pandemics and issues of health disparity. The economy is in a uproar, turned literally upside down. And here comes superstar Susan spreading some magic with her team. Talk about this concept of holiday magic. I want to make sure that we put that on the screen. Virtual fundraiser that is happening in the space. Talk about this magic and your intent and mission for this program.
Well, thank you so much for having me on again, Malik, and thank you so much to our Heart City family. Your support is always so deeply appreciated. So yes, Holiday Magic, right? Holiday Magic is sponsored by my publishing company, Small House Publishing LLC. And we wanted to do a fundraiser, but we just didn't want to launch like a Kickstarter or just an Indiegogo project. We wanted to make sure that we offered like something of value to our audience. And we know that during COVID and the election and just all civil unrest, everything that's been happening around us, one of the things that has kept us afloat has been art, has been music, has been television. Those things have really brought us together as a community and as a people. And so being an artist, I figure what better way to spread a little holiday magic than to call on some of my artist friends and have them come and do some performances, some holiday songs, skits, holiday greetings, just something to just lighten the mood. I know that this holiday season is going to be so much different for so many people, outside of what they're accustomed to, maybe gatherings and big family gatherings. And we can't do that this season, but technology has allowed us to be able to gather virtually. And so along with being able to raise money for some of the initiatives that we have coming up for 2021, I also wanted to spread a little holiday magic and use a platform to do both.
Listen, holiday magic is much needed. And to your point, technology has allowed us to take our programming from inside of four walls, whether it be a performance theater, concert venue, church, and the like, but to be able to spread it internationally at the push of a button. And so you are essentially spreading some holiday magic around the world with these amazing gifts, not just in you, but also the artists that you're bringing to the table. Talk about your push, because it's a very consistent push for those who follow you on social media. I being one, put my hand up on that. You are so committed to ensuring that diverse voices are at the table and they have their time to shine. Talk about that mission mandate and why it's so important to you.
Absolutely. One of the reasons why I started my my production company, S. Charlie Productions, was for the sake of increasing diversity in theater. I think it's important that our voices are heard, that our stories are heard, that our faces are seen, that those stories are not just our stories, but they're told by us and they're told in our voices and from a place that's our stories are unique, you know what I mean, as people of color. And it's important that we are the voice behind our stories. And it's important that we are the faces behind our stories. And so that's why I started my my production company. I wanted to see I wanted to place more value in African American theater. I think that we have so much to offer in terms of talent, and it doesn't always get the platform that it deserves. And while my company is an up and coming company, I believe that over the years we've been able to provide work that shows high value, you know, and trying to be very consistent to that. And so that was the reason why we started the company, and that mission has followed now into our publishing company, having the same mission, wanting Black stories of color by people of color to be told, and to be told by us in a way that relates to us, but in a way that still brings value to what it is that we do.
I think that's really important, you know, and I honor and respect those who have excelled in the comedic space, which is equally as important, and sharing a great laugh is so crucial, especially at times like this. But it's also important for us to stay focused on telling positive narrative about the African American experience, including communities of color, in wholesome programming that uplifts and doesn't necessarily make fun of our experience. We can share laughter in a positive and wholesome experience equally. And I think a lot of your programming does that. I noticed even some of the initiatives that you've done around Nylah and ensuring that young children get to see this level of programming early. What do you think the impact has been thus far in being that steadfast on wholesome programming? Because it doesn't make the green light to the major motion pictures as quickly. We understand that. And so it's a longer journey to success, but do you feel that it is a meaningful one?
Absolutely, it's been because that's a part of who I am, and you know, our platforms definitely has to be rooted in who we are. And so, you know, a big part of who I am is my belief systems, my faith. All of those things play into, you know, they don't stop at your place of worship. It goes into every area of your life. And so, even who I am as an artist, you know, my faith absolutely plays a big part of who I am as an artist and what I put out there, how I represent myself, how I represent my company, the programs that I choose to represent, the artists that I choose to work with. All of those things are really, really important to me, that I maintain a level and sense of consistency so that people know what it is that they can expect from me, not just as an artist or a businesswoman, but what they can expect from me as a person in general. And that's the utmost important part to me. So yeah, I think it's important. I think it's needed. My companies are very family based. You know, a lot of the productions that we do, we have families, and that's probably the most beautiful thing that I've been able to experience doing these shows, is that, you know, you have full out families, mothers, grandmothers, fathers, children, godparents, and you know, it goes against the some of the things that we battle against in terms of how people look at African American families. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have tight family structures, and we come from broken families, but that hasn't even been my experience as an artist. When we do our productions, when we do our shows, their whole entire families, husbands, wives, 3-4 generations of family members that are coming together to do something that's fun, that's artistic, to spend quality time with each other, to laugh, you know, to share hugs. And so the environment is always so beautiful, and it's always so encouraging to see all these families of color able to come together. I love it. I love it.
We love it as well, and we think it's so important. You have a family member right here with us now, and I want to make sure we bring him in the mix. Brother Joseph McKinnon.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, brother? Welcome home.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, so, you know, Susan has laid the groundwork. This is a family affair.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very clear that you are part of the family. Talk about this amazing experience in providing some holiday magic during this time.
Absolutely. Well, I first found out about the company by viewing some of her shows. Like, the first show that I saw of Susan's was maybe Blue, I believe.
Okay.
It blew me away. Absolutely, no pun intended. It was such the production quality, the cast, well diverse. I've seen every person that I see in real world on stage, which is very, very important for representation in our culture. But 2017 is when I actually first started working with Susan, and I worked on a role called, what was in the play called Princess Nylah and the Journey to the Magic Window, where I played a character who was full of life, energy. He was really, really robust and I guess charismatic, I would say. And it allowed me to express a side of myself that you won't see in every day. You won't see in representation on TV, because we don't get these opportunities like we have and what we're able to do in the communities and production companies that are based around incorporating all of that.
So I feel spirit coming on, because so Susan is a poet, a playwright, and a recording artist.
Oh yes.
You are an actor, a writer, and a singer. So I see a whole holiday album getting ready to jump right here. Tambourine hand, like,
hey.
Let's go. And so you guys incorporate not just the written text and prose into this space, but you're now adding music, original compositions, allowing the whole of the artistry to come out. Susan, that's a powerhouse move, especially in a space where many of us, in order to excel, we have to sing someone else's stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we have to act out someone else's stuff, or the executive producer is not of color and wants to water down the experience. You guys are able to encompass all of who we are and the greatness that God has given us into one performance. And so talk about the power of owning your voice all the way through this experience.
It's definitely important to me to be able to collaborate. Collaboration is so important. Because while I may be good at one thing, there's someone who is good at a part of it that I may not be excellent in. And I always strive for excellence. And so if I know I'm not the best person to write songs, like songwriting is not my thing. Like I can work arrangement, yes. Concept, yes. I can do all of that. But I don't hear music like someone who's a songwriter would hear it. And so it's important to me to have the best finished product. And so I'm going to call on the people that I know that is their thing, that's their expertise. And I never feel like, oh, well, so-and-so may outshine me because they're so good at. Absolutely not. I feel like when we put people in their lane to do what they do well, and at the end of it, we can all have a project that we can all be proud of. And so I'm always excited to meet new artists. I'm always excited to meet people who do things better than I may do it. If I meet a banging director, I'm like, hey, I have a project. I love your directing style. Direct this project for me. I'm all about collaboration, and it's not always easy to be able to do that. Really, it's not. It's not easy to collaborate sometimes because people want, limelight. They want to be the one to shine, but I'm for it. And people know that since I started on this journey, it's always been about sharing any platform I have, no matter how big, how small. It's like, can 5 of us fit on here? Then 5 of us is getting on the platform.
Right.
It's really important to me to always reach across as we go and say, listen, if I'm going, then we're all going. And I'm so grateful for the people who continue to rock out with me like Joe.
So Joe, Susan put the ball right at the rim for you.
Here we go.
She said, I may not write, but I got Babyface over here to my right. And Joe McKinnon. So talk about this experience where you're able to not just add one layer of talent to this, but able to provide multiple aspects to this and create this amazing collective voice.
Absolutely. Well, while I haven't been able to exactly extend my talents of writing towards production yet, I do come in from an actor's, I guess we'll say veteran, since I've been doing it for about 10 years. That standpoint, and being able to also see it from a different perspective. It's different being on stage or any production and being in the audience and as a director, and being able to both see what's happening in the moment and see from an audience standpoint. So being able to jump in where Susan may not exactly see, hey, this person isn't getting the rhythm or the cadence of what we're doing right now. Can I jump in real quick and be like, hey, let me help you out with this. I know that we need to bop. So let's work on that really quick. And then it helps as a total for us to be able to have that whole unison and be as one when it comes to getting everything together.
5 years from now, where do you plan to be, Joe?
5 years from now, I plan to be out of quarantine, hopefully, and on stage performing in front of an audience.
So
I mean, like, just to hype on.
Is it more impactful now to perform on an online platform where you're able to reach millions that are outside of a building versus being in a building? Because I know back in the day, I used to have some hair. There was a whole life as a music artist that shall go unmentioned, but it was nothing like being on stage. There's absolutely nothing like feeling that energy, looking out, seeing the face.
Exactly. But I will say it's not more of an impact. I will say it's more important now to put out your work and let people see that there are things out there, even though we can't be. I will never take away live theater, live performances, because there is a communication that you have with your audience that cannot be broken online by pushing play. Like, it helps to be able to push play because we need something to take our minds off of the things that is distracting us and putting us in, upsetting moods or uncomfortable places. So having the option to be able to play something is extremely awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I can't take away from that live connection you have with touching someone and embracing them with your art. Like, that's how I got my start of healing and being able to work. I love to be able to do that and feel that I'm doing that and getting that response from people.
So Joe, before you go, I need you to give me some inside baseball, okay? So Susan is from Spanish Town, Jamaica. Okay.
Okay.
So I love Jamaican food, culture, family. Listen, just say J, and I'm thinking I'm already there in the space. So backstage, is there any Escovitch snapper or something like that? Is she sharing her full gifts with the world now?
The thing is, Susan will make sure we are fed, we are well taken care of. However, there is no time to cook. She is working. She wears many hats. She wears many shoes. She is in there working. So we have to be able to, all contribute when it comes to that.
Susan, keep him around. He did not throw you under the bus on that. Joe, we honor you and appreciate you, brother. Tell the broadcast audience why they should make sure that they are checking out Holiday Magic this week.
You should make sure you're checking out Holiday Magic, not only because it's something to do, but we are here to provide you with a gift that should change and help influence your future, your world right now, and your current situation. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all there.
Wow, we'll see you there. Joe, we honor you. We love you, brother, and the great gift that you are not just giving to this project, but to the world.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. Nice meeting you also.
And nice meeting you as well. So, Susan, they did not throw you under the bus.
They didn't.
I apologize for being as aggressive in my inquiry. I'm just saying, you're from Spanish Town now. Something's got to happen backstage. But talk
I got you on it, though. I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, there is a cultural element. Are you able to add not just your culture, but our total cultural experience in some of these presentations that you're able to do on stage and in the production? Nylah has elements from one aspect. This Holiday Magic will probably provide, without telling the secret sauce, cultural elements from another. So do you feel like you're able to give a well-rounded cultural experience to those who are in attendance or those who are watching?
Absolutely, and it's such a privilege to be able to boast to be from Jamaica, of course.
Yeah.
It adds a little extra sauce, a little pepper to what we do. But yeah, even with Princess Nylah, it's very African inspired with a lot of the characters. The character that Joe played, Oru, is a character that comes from African mythology. There's a lot of African mythology in Princess Nylah. We go through some of we call it uncovering the magic. So because it's things that people may not know. I always loved Greek mythology. I always thought I loved it in school. And so now it's like, we have our own stuff, with our own faces and that's relatable to our own people. So why not incorporate that? So even with the on stage, we had like African dancing, different things like that. The characters spoke like Yoruba, and I try my best to incorporate as much culture and as much diversity, even because we're even diverse, even with being African American or a person of color. We have so much diversity in our own experiences, in our own culture, and it's really important to me to always show that.
Indeed it is, and it's very important. And you talked about that diversity because we are not this monolithic group. We have a varied experience, and it's rich and full of various cultural experiences. One of your family members, his personal statement is acting is a calling, and the stage is my pulpit. One of his personal statements that he stands by. And so I'm excited to bring this brother into the mix. Jerome Scott, it is a pleasure, brother, having you on Heart City. Welcome home, man.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on? How you feeling? Hey, Sue.
Hey, listen, hey, we're about to shift, so you could go ahead and host the rest of the show. I'm in guest mode. It's great to have you with us, man. This is an amazing time. Obviously, there are challenges around COVID and how the creative economy presents itself to the world. You are part of that change. You are part of that new normal for the creative economy. And the holiday fundraiser and the holiday magic
is just one of many, I'm sure, that you and Susan are going to work on to provide this amazing new normal for entertainment. Talk about this experience for you and what it's meant to you.
Well, I think art has a responsibility to encourage and uplift people throughout life. I mean, they one of the old adages is that art imitates life. And if art can imitate life, then I totally believe that art can also influence, impact, and change people's lives. And in a time like this, we absolutely need art. We just need art. So being a part of this and being a part of this whole process with Sue and working with Sue before, I know what she brings to the table. I know how she cares about her art. And I know that through her, I would have an opportunity to not only impact people, but to change people's minds and lives and possibly uplift people in a time like this. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, it is crazy. And it's so important that we see representation of our community in that uplifting process, right? It's not just others who can uplift us. We can lift a helping hand to our own folk and kind of raise the spirit and the legacy point. And so, A Raisin in the Sun, for those who really understand, that great work. 16 years old, you were called to the stage, brother, on A Raisin in the Sun high school production, and the journey began. Talk about your journey and how you went from A Raisin in the Sun to the great work that you're doing right here in this space.
Oh man, I've been acting my entire life. I've been just involved in just acting in quotations my entire life. I was a class clown. I always liked to perform for people. So having that opportunity with A Raisin in the Sun, I played a character by the name of Joseph Osagai initially. Yes. So that was my first role on stage in front of high school friends and family and people who had come in. So from there, the itch had begun, and I went from there to Eastern University, and I was involved in the theater program there and got training through the professors and the many directors there. And then coming back home to Philadelphia and trying to get involved and just getting involved in the theater here. That itch has just been cultivated and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And now it's like, I feel like an old man. I feel like an old man sometimes. I'm not that old, but I feel like an old man with this. It's a lot of experience, but the good thing is that the itch never left. It's just always there. The desire is always there to tell stories, always there to, as I said, the stage is my pulpit. I grew up in church. The stage is where I preach. The stage is where I use those words and that script to tell you about an aspect of life that you are either hiding from or looking forward to. And that's where, and I want to highlight that and illuminate that for you. And I've been given that opportunity plenty of times. Work with Susan and been given a lot of opportunities, a lot of great opportunities to do that, to do just that. So it's been great. It's been a journey. It's been a great journey, though.
Listen, you're channeling all kinds of ancestors in the space. You're sitting there with the Marvin Gaye.
You see that?
With the beard, all you do is turn to the side, and we got the album cover going on, brother. And so it's great to see one so young feel so seasoned because you've invested early.
Yeah.
You understood your design. You understood what God had for you, and you said, "I'm all in on this, and I'm gonna give it everything I have." Susan, what is it like to work with somebody so committed like Jerome, who understands his craft, who gets who he is and whose he is, and then adds that element and value to a production?
I have thoroughly enjoyed working with Jerome. I always say Jerome is so consistent. He's consistent, and consistency, especially when you're doing live theater, is so important to have people who are going to be solid every time. You're like, I know you're going to get on stage, you're going to deliver, I know you're going to get on stage, you're going to know those lines, you're going to know your lyrics, you're going to kill your song, your comedic timing is going to be on point, you're going to hit all of the cake. It is so, because as a director and the type of director I am, right? So on show days, I'm not just sitting in the audience, I'm calling the show, I'm calling writing cues, I'm doing a lot of stuff. And so it puts you at rest to know that you have someone who is able to represent your art well, and you don't have to worry about, I wonder if he's going, get nervous, or I wonder if he's going to fumble the ball here, or I wonder, no, I don't have that kind of worry when it comes on to Jerome. I know he's always going to bring his A game. And so he's one of my consistent go-to people. I'm like, hey, I call him my boy twin because we just have so much in common. I'm like, hey, boy twin, what you doing? You busy?
Yeah.
I was thinking, what you think about that? And he's just such a pleasure to work with. His energy is very calming. It's very soothing. It's very much, we're going to get it done. Don't worry about it. We got it. I need that, because I'm not, I don't worry outwardly anyway. All of my turmoil happens internally. So inside, I'll be like, but to have someone whose energy is just always calm, who's very confident in what it is that they do, someone who is very rooted in what they do. So it's like, I know what I do. I know what I'm going to bring to this role, to this character. To have that is amazing. And I always tell them, I try to, as best I can, express how appreciative I am, because people don't have to work with you. You know what I mean? Especially at the type of art that we're trying to do. We don't always have the big, huge budget to be able to even take care of them the way you may want to. I mean, I handle my business, but I always wish I could do more. Like, I want everybody to quit their jobs and let's just go create. We'll get there. I fully believe that is the direction and that's the trajectory that we are working towards. But people don't have to work with you. They don't have to respect your art. They don't have to show up on time. They don't have to come to rehearsals. You know what I mean? And when you have people who are as invested in what you're doing as you are, you absolutely cannot take that for granted at all. It's not a one-woman show. It's not a one-man show. It takes everybody bringing their absolute A game in whatever lane they flow in to make it all come together. And I am absolutely, the people that I have worked, and people, when you're in the city, people may have their opinions, because I like to stick close to what I know, what I'm comfortable with. And so I have my group of people that I like working with, and I'm not against working with other people, but I know that we have a mutual level of respect. We've worked together long enough to know, they're like, oh, so you're doing that face. I know what that face means.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so I cannot express enough how much I appreciate how much work and effort they put into to bring the magic that we bring every time that we do something together. So I love you guys. I can't say it again. I love my people.
look at the love fest going on here. You did the Fat Joe lean back when Susan started talking about how important it is to be able to trust and feel comfortable knowing what one is going to bring on stage. From an actor's perspective, how does it feel knowing that you have a director who truly trusts you? Does that give you a platform to be able to dive into another level of artistry because that level of trust is there?
Absolutely. It makes you comfortable. It makes you feel at home. It makes the actor feel like I have the liberty to now make choices and not feel crazy when I make those choices. I have the liberty to play. I have the liberty to explore. And having that liberty to explore and play, you can find different layers and different shades of this character and different personalities within this character and who this person is, and discovering. You're allowed to discover. You're allowed to experiment. And by being afforded that level of trust, it's greatly appreciated because it's freeing. It's freedom. And that's why I'll never say no. Like Susan will ask me, and it's never no. I can't do it. No, I'm going to make time, and I'm going to do it because I'm one that needs freedom. I need space to explore and find it. Let me figure it out. I'll figure something out. Let me try it this way and this way and this way. And does that work for you? No, it doesn't. Well, we'll try something else. And knowing that I can go through that process with her is always, as much as it may be a calming presence for her, it's a calming presence for me, because I too do not worry outwardly. It's all internal. But when I can walk into a space where I know I'm trusted, I'm afforded the opportunity to relax. And it's a beautiful thing to experience.
Take it to the next level. Absolutely. So, last question, Jerome. 5 years from now, what does the creator have in your design? Do you see it?
I see. I'm going to speak that. I will be working on probably a second show, a second large show. I've written a show already, wrote and produced a show already, and entitled The Couch. It is coming back for those out there. That's a shameless plug.
Plug it.
Go get it, bro.
But I will be working on another show and possibly writing and acting in a series. That is what I'm looking at in 5 years. A series, writing, producing, and acting in a series that I created. That is what I'm looking for.
Beautiful, man. Listen, we are excited about you, excited about your gift to the world. We love you and honor you for the great work you're doing, not just for the community, but for the culture as well, my brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Love you, Sue. Love
Hey,
you.
we love you, brother. And so, Susan, you have this amazing cast. And this is just a sampling of the wonderful gifts and team that you have around you. And I want people to understand it's not just those who are on stage, but those who are behind, those who are making sure that everything works smoothly. For all that you see on stage, there's 10 times more action happening behind the scenes to make sure that production goes off without a hitch. And so let's talk about this fundraiser and why people need to support Holiday Magic. Coming up. And so Susan, talk about this fundraiser, how they support, how they get involved.
Okay, so Holiday Magic, our virtual fundraiser, will be airing via YouTube. It's gonna be Facebook Live from my Susan C. Small Facebook page, and I'll also share it to my personal page. It'll also be on the Susan C. Small YouTube page. The purpose of it was to launch my Indiegogo fundraiser that we're going to be doing for 2021. And the purpose of the fundraiser, of course, is to help us to continue the initiatives that we already started this year. One of the things that we did this year was our Storytime Live series. And what that consists of is we have a bunch of live events where we take books written by African-American authors and we present them in a way that's very interactive for our audience, for our children, for their families. This year we did our Storytime in the Garden, where we had like a whole story time picnic and we had the moms and dads and everybody come out and we did an entire production outside in the park. We want to continue to be able to do work like that for our audience and for our families. And so we need your support to be able to do that. Along with our Storytime event series, we have Storytime in Black, which is going to be our YouTube series where we have some of our artist friends reading books by Black authors. Because like I said, I think it's really important that our stories are read and that they're read in our voices. And so we have Storytime Live, which is a very interactive Storytime event. We want to secure a venue and really provide a wonderful opportunity for our children and our families. Then we have Storytime in Black, which is going to be one of our YouTube series where we have our artists reading Black stories with Black characters to our little brown babies. Yeah. And then the third part of that is I have already launched my first book, Princess Nylah and the Journey to the Magic Window, which has been an incredible journey. And we are currently working on our second children's book, which is called The Wishing Well. And so your donations is going to help us to further all of the causes for 2021. And so when you donate on Indiegogo, you can opt for either one. So you can pre-order The Wishing Well, and your order of that will go into helping the book be, published, and all of the production things that go into publishing a book. Or you can donate to our Storytime Live event series, and your donations will go towards us securing a venue, all of the other things that we need to do to make sure that we have a wonderful event.
Susan, you are doing tremendous work, and I need you to know your commitment to excellence is so crucial. I honor that. Above everything else that you're doing, you treat this like a 5-star experience. And I think that is one of those factors that differentiate what you do from others in the space. And that is not to down anyone in the space. We celebrate all of our great artists, but that level of leadership is going to make a difference, especially as technologies are changing. We know Warner Brothers just sent every movie literally to streaming media. So nothing's going in the theaters now. And so the playing field is changing. And so if you're able to produce excellence in this stage, you're that much more apt to be selected and expanded into the next level. I believe that is what is going to happen on your life and those who are a part of this journey. And so, Susan, we love you, honor you, and appreciate you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Heart City. I appreciate you guys so much. Your support has been incredible on this journey. I put on for my city too. So.
There you go. There you go.
Repping for Philly all day, repping for Black girls, repping for Island girls, repping for Church girls, all the things that I'm so proud of. All the things. So I'm excited about Saturday. Tune in from 6 to 8 o'clock. I promise you will not be disappointed. Come with a little love offering,
Yeah.
We could have charged, but I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. And so it's a free event. And so I cannot wait to see everybody's names in the comments and names in the views, because I will be looking.
There you go. Well, we'll make sure that our names are in the comments and in the views as well. And we're excited for this weekend in the Holiday Magic fundraiser. Thank you again for spending time in the city with us.
Thank you.
So you've heard from Susan C. Small and two of just her, a plethora of her talent that exists there. These two individuals are phenomenal, Jerome and Joe. That's just a portion of what she brings to the table as a family, as a collective unit. It is so important that as you are on the mission that God has designed for you, that you celebrate your team. We saw Susan do exactly that. And so what I need you to do as a part of this Heart City family, this team, make sure that we support everyone who showed up today, the great work that Madison is doing with her book. We need to support our entrepreneurs and let them know that they are loved and that we are committed to having their back. We're going to post all of the relevant information on our social media pages so that you can follow and share. More importantly, show up during those events. And there's something you can do that doesn't cost you a thing. Right here at the Heart Family, we need you to subscribe today, become a part of this Heart City family. Receive updates, notifications, bonus content, and more. All you have to do is go to the YouTube channel and click the subscribe button and ring the bell. It will make sure that you get all of the information that you need and the notifications to let you know when we are broadcasting next. This has been a beautiful, beautiful time. Season for love, indeed it is. And so I'm asking you to share love with those that you care for, those that are in your heart, and spread it outside of that realm. Share love with those who you may not know, but you know that they need some love during the season. Check on our seniors. It's crucial because they're dealing with depression, being away from family during this time. And so a senior that's in your neighborhood, a senior that's in your family, call them and let them know that while you may not be able to spend up close and personal time with them, you love them nonetheless, and that they are in your heart. You can follow Heart City Radio Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, HeartCity TV. And please, by all means, share this show as we rebroadcast at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, feel beautiful, look beautiful, and act beautiful. Why? Because you truly are beautiful. I'll see you next week.